What's up, Palm Tree? What's up, Protectors? It is your one and only Thickness Pro, Palm here. And before we get into this new episode of Thickness Protection Program, I just wanted to let you guys know one thing. Believe it or not, I am not monetized on YouTube yet. I'm not monetized on Spotify either. After all these years of uploading content to YouTube, I'm still not monetized. It's okay, it'll happen eventually, but this is a slow grind and this is not an easy platform to get on with. So, with that being said, if you are enjoying this content, please feel free to tip a donation to my Cash App or my Venmo, and it'll be much appreciated. You can let me know if you want your shout out in a future episode, no matter the amount of your tip, okay? So again, Cash App or Venmo is Dylan is Palm, and it's much appreciated. Hope you guys enjoy this new episode of Thickness Protection Program. We want thick. Following is intended for mature audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
We want thickness.
So I think the one thing for me personally that drives me a little nuts is once I tell someone I do porn, that's all I am to them as a porn star. Even though last year I actually shot porn maybe 5 days out of all of last year. 5 days.
Okay.
I did all. I wrestled an alligator. I went to Sturgis. I went to Niagara Falls. I did all this shit. But all anyone hears is like, she's a porn star. And I'm like, I travel the fucking country doing all this cool shit.
No, she's Thick Lizzy.
That's the only thing that people care about is like
Thick Lizzy's Thick Lizzy.
About anything else. And that is like a little bit, I'm like, dude, I have like this insanely fulfilling like life with all this stuff that I do, but it's just like it doesn't exist when people don't care.
Well, howdy, everybody. Welcome to the Thickness Protection Program. This is the podcast celebrating body positivity for the adult content creator community. And if you don't already know, I go by Cowboy Palm, and I'm hosting this rodeo today. I got a fine dudette in the building, wherever she is right now, and she's ready to rock the microphone and get down with the thickness. Go on, introduce yourself, young lady.
I am Thick Lizzy. I am pretty much always on the road. Can't really say exactly where I'm from. I've been in the industry kind of on an amateur level for about 5 years, professional level for just the last 2 or 3. And I am a Virgo. And yeah.
Pardon the interruption, Protectors, but this is Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. And before we go any further in this interview, I'm gonna need you to click that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notification bell. And if you're listening on Spotify, make sure you are following the podcast. And please leave a rating before you get up on out of here. Now back to the Thickness Protection Program. Pimpin' Palm, the Mac and Memoji. You dig?
We want thickness.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm not going to do the Cowboy Palm thing the entire show. I'm just be regular ass Dylan from here on out.
You're good at it, though, I gotta say.
Thank you. All right. Well, so the journey begins. Okay. So you can't say exactly where you're from, but digging back through your Instagram, you know, I see that you've kind of moved around a lot from place to place. Tell me, where did you kind of grow up though?
So I am from New Mexico. I was born there. But I started moving around like the second I could when I was like 17. And I lived in Spain for a little bit. I've lived in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, Oakland. I've lived in Denver. Just a lot of traveling. Like I have a truck travel and have kind of gotten to meet people all over the country and just a rambler always. Right now I'm on my way to Daytona to kind of make a little home base there, but I'm already going to be back in Austin for all of June, and I'm going to be in Miami next month, and I'll be just kind of all over the place still, even though I'm kind of going to hang my hat in one place. Don't expect me to actually be there that often.
Right. Okay. So you really truly are like life on the road, life of a cowgirl.
Yeah. I mean, I was before COVID and before I was in the industry, I worked festivals, and I've traveled full time doing that because I'd work a fest, and you make a couple $1,000s in a weekend, and when you're just traveling and not paying rent, you can make that last as long as you want. And like I said, I'd always crash with friends and do a lot of camping out. So I just like to be on the move all the time. I've always just wanted to be everywhere and do everything. So
right.
I try my best.
That is a really cool thing. You know, I ever so often meet people who are kind of nomadic like that, as they call it. moving from place to place, and just getting new experiences from everywhere you do touch down at. So early on, how did that happen? You know, and in your days as a youth, as a young lady, like were you still moving and grooving back then?
Yeah, I mean, it started when I was young. I've always just had itchy toes, you know. I've just always wanted to, and like I grew up in like the punk scene. A lot of kids doing a lot of like hitchhiking. A lot of kids who just like don't have homes, and um, I I just always wanted to just travel, and I didn't have enough money to do it, like you know, in the traditional way. So I just made it happen by like, you know, I used to do like hitchhiking, and I would make little jewelry and like trinkets and like sell them on the side of the road or play music just so I could do it when I was younger. Um,
Yeah, because
because
by today's standards, hitchhiking sounds so dangerous.
yeah, I can say when I was younger, there was a fearlessness that came. It was kind of a just not caring what happened that much. I was an angsty teenager. We'll just say that much. But always it was just kind of like I had bad things that happened to me at home. So it was like if these things are happening at home, why should I be scared to like go out other places? You know what I mean?
Right, I see.
So
So when we talk about bad things at home, and you know, please let me know if you're comfortable or uncomfortable talking about that. But when we talk about bad things at home, can you say like, you know, some of the things that may have troubled you or came across your path in your early
I
days?
I'll get the nutshell version is that like I had like a home invasion when I was a teenager
Mm.
that was very bad. Um, and after that, like for a long time, I was kind of just, it's what kind of started my journey of like wanting to go off and travel and like do whatever and move out when I was younger. Um, and I did, it led me to having like a lot of anxiety and stuff for a long time. And now I've kind of conquered that part of it and just, but still have kept the like wanderlust part. But I think it's kind of, like I said, like it kind of led itself into the fearlessness that I have today, that is being like a traveling woman who's always on the road and always in new places, is that like I'm like, if the scariest things that have ever happened to me happened in like a safe and like my comfort zone, now it's like I'm always willing to push myself out of the comfort zone because you know bad things can happen anywhere, so I might as well be going and doing and seeing everything at the same time, you know what I mean?
Right on. So with like your whole character and aesthetic, which what we call persona, I love how you just are so unique to your country metal, you know, whole thing. So like growing up, like what music was really inspiring Thick Lizzy to become who she is today?
Um, well, I mean, I did actually grow up like started riding horses when I was 7 or 8. Like, my dad was very into all the old country, although like you know the classic outlaw stuff, Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, and you know I'm 36, so I was
36 Mafia.
the early 90s country, like that's what I grew up on. And then, like I said, I kind of turned into a little angsty teenager, and when I was probably in middle school, that's when I started getting into like punk music, which led very quickly into in New Mexico. Um, there's music called grindcore that was kind of a big thing there. So I just kind of like got delved into like the very heavy metal scene at a really young age, and I loved it, and I like felt seen. I felt like I found my people, you know, because I always felt like I was. And this sounds like so corny, but I felt like I was like different from a lot of the people that I went to school with and stuff. And then it felt like I found like a haven of people, kind of like people that seemed like kind of misfits in my city, and that's it where I felt comfortable. And then it just kind of for a long time I kind of delved into the punk thing and steered away from all the country stuff. And then as I got older, I was like, that's you know my roots. And so now it's just a little mashup of the two.
I love that. And it's interesting that you said you found a haven of people, because as I've spent this last year running and growing thickness protection program, I've found that through the guests and the people who've gotten down with the thickness and the protectors who become supporters, that I found that this community has been that safe haven as well, of like creators, and everybody has their own persona, their own style, and their own flair. So yeah, it's meeting a lot of dope characters who are becoming like really cool friends.
Yeah. there's definitely been a cool like community in like the. I didn't really get into. I was selling pictures on Instagram. Um, Started probably like in like 2017. It was just something I did on the side while I was traveling. Like I'd be like, basically for the price of a tank of gas, like I'll send you a little picture bundle or whatever.
Hmm.
And it wasn't so I didn't really get into professional stuff until 2020, and that's when the pandemic was happening. So I wasn't able to really meet people at first. So like this year at AVN was the first time I really got to meet a lot of other people from the industry in person. You know, we've all been friends on Twitter and stuff for the past couple of years.
I see.
And
Okay.
that's the first time I got to go to a big event.
So with all the places you've traveled to, how did you start doing festivals? Because I was kind of like imagining, you've been in showbiz for a minute, prior to getting into the adult thing. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I got into bartending kind of on accident. I've always fake it till you make it has always kind of been my motto as far as job stuff goes. But I got into bartending, and then there happened to be an ad for bartenders for a country fest in Colorado, and I applied, and it went really well. And then it turned out this company kind of had festivals all over the place, and I just loved it. It was like this woman-run company, and it was kind of like you just sign up. They send you emails with like whatever festivals need workers, and you can sign up to wherever you could go. And so that's how I was able to kind of travel all over, and they would do raves and like country stuff, and there's occasional like metal things, all kinds of stuff though. And I just like really liked it because there's such I like being a part of things that exist purely for joy. And it was so cool to be a part of these moments that people wait all year for, and it's like it's purely just fucking fun, and nothing else. And it was so fun to be a part of it. And I just love the energy of it.
That's a
So even
beautiful
now,
thing.
yeah, even now it's like I work a lot of motorcycle events and do stuff like that. I love going, like I'm excited to go to XBiz. I wish I could be at Exotica right now. Like
Yeah.
Avian. I just love that energy that comes with all kind of large
I
events.
can't wait when I fly out to the Shy next Friday. That'll be my first time at Exotica, my first time at any of these like Sexpo conferences. So I can't wait,
Yeah. Were you at AVN? Did you do that one?
No, 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 ma'am.
Okay.
I come from like mainstream TV and like the music industry. So like I'm still like a new kid in school with as far as like the sex work and this
Yeah.
culture. But like this has been an absolute pleasure, like getting to know so many of you guys. So yeah, I'm about to learn a lot of new things. So
Yeah, Exotica seems fun. I'm just like so right now I'm driving. I was in New Mexico, hit Austin. Now I'm in New Orleans with my best friend, to hang out for a little bit, and then we're gonna go camp in Florida, and then I'm gonna get to Daytona. There was just like no way I could make it to Chicago right now. Also, I've been on the road consistently since last July, and I'm a little bit exhausted right now.
can you take me with you?
Yeah, my truck is full right now, actually.
All right, I'm gonna just hitch my Mini Cooper to the back of your shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
perfect.
okay. Um, yeah. So when you're traveling place to place, whether you're doing paid shoots, collabs, and such, like, tell me some of the things that you'll do in the various cities and markets while you're on the road.
So honestly, like I don't shoot nearly as much as probably a lot of people that you talk to. Um, I'm trying to do more of that this year, do more like collab scenes and stuff. But I like motorcycles is a huge. It's motorcycles and metal. Those and like it's music, motorcycles. That's what I do. I like a lot of outdoorsy stuff. I've been trying to conquer a lot of my fears. Like anything like motorcycles, ATVs,
Great
traveling,
outdoors.
I'm into it. Like I do a lot of redneck shit for not having some redneck ideals. You know what I mean? Uh, I but yeah, it's like mostly like going to see live music is like my biggest passion. That's what
Same.
I'm into.
That's my
Uh,
number one thing, aside from making people laugh, is going to shows. That's my favorite thing in the world.
yeah, and that's I lived in Austin the last couple of years before I left in July.
Shout out to Austin. My mom was born in Travis County.
Yeah, and so it's like there's I the other night I was there and I went to three shows in one night, just run back and forth. And like I love
Nice.
that I can go see some country shit there, then go to a metal show, then I can end up at like a goth night later and
Yeah.
do it all. It's like a Tuesday, and like I love that. a fear I have about going to Florida that I'm going to be missing out on. But
And it's
I
funny
can
you
find
said that
fun
because
everywhere.
on my channel I have a vlog from 2021 where I went to 3 shows in one night too. Well, one music video shoot
I love it.
for my friend Nakatami. She's a Virgo like you.
Mm.
So one music video shoot for her. It was her birthday, and then I went to see this indie artist named Idress perform at the Roxy on Sunset. Then I went to another club to see OGZ from Shoreline Mafia perform. So it was like, yeah, 3 shows and 3 whole separate scenes, but in one night.
Yeah, I like that too. So like I used to for a long time I was really, I mean, not to get too heavy into it, but like I said, I used to deal with a lot of anxiety, I was like kind of depression and a lot of stuff. And I was very kind of set in my ways. I was kind of cynical. I was just only wanted to do like certain things. And I kind of had this big life changing time when it was around when I turned 30, because I went through a bad breakup. I hit like a little bit of a rock bottom.
Really?
Well,
Because
and
I
that's
just
when
turned 30 in October myself, so like I'm, in a new decade. So I want to hear how was your experience
well,
hitting the 3
I
and
mean,
0.
like I said, I had to hit kind of a rock bottom, and I was so unhappy with my life was that I was like, fuck it, like I'm gonna save up money. I bought my truck that I have now, and I like took off with no plan.
Just roam.
And then I just kind of, and I changed a lot about like my mindset and just kind of having a more positive outlook. There's just no way to talk about it without sounding incredibly corny. But I started just like practicing to have a lot of gratitude and like focus every day on like one thing I'm thankful for. But also a big part of it was starting to say yes to all kinds of stuff, like stuff that's out of my normal comfort zone, stuff that I don't think I'd be into, and just like being just into new experiences, no matter if it sounds appealing to me or not. And it kind of like opened my eyes to all kinds of new stuff. And it's just been a lot more positive of a time for me. So like if you want to invite me any kind of music really there is, I'll be like, sure, like let's go. I'm kind of down for anything
For
now.
sure.
And
And
it made my life a lot more fun.
and for the record, although like, for those of you who are following me before Thickness Protection Program, although Palm doesn't blog, I haven't had the pleasure of blogging that much country music. I like a few country songs. Don't get it twisted, you guys.
I could introduce you to
Oh, please do. Please do. And like, I got family members who like work with like what they call hick hop, like the mix of like hip hop and country, or what they call like bro country, like out here in California, like how they'll just play, country that's a little more like hip hop and pop inspired. But
yeah. I feel like I've always leaned towards like the like more old school, the like outlaw stuff, because it kind of aligns. Like I said, I listen to a lot of like punk and metal and like
yeah,
outlaw stuff. It's the same kind of
I
vibe.
fuck with punk rock too. I mean, growing up here in SoCal, you got like skateboarding culture is part of our culture.
Yeah,
So like,
okay.
yeah, definitely grew up playing Tony Hawk, and I'm gonna get the word underground tatted on my bicep right here. But yeah, I love punk. Who are some of your favorite punk bands?
Well, I kind of got more into like crust punk and that kind of stuff. I
Crust
mean, my
punk.
original the stuff that started when I was like really young was like I did like AFI. I liked this band
Miss
Leftover
Murda.
Attack, which now I'm like not a fan of. But yeah, I kind of it delved really quickly into a lot like much heavier stuff that was like not in the mainstream, because I was like everything I wanted to do had to be like so obscure and nobody knows about it. You know what I mean?
That's me as fuck. So obscure. It's like so everything had to be like different. Like
Yeah, I was just wanted to rebel against literally everything in existence
oh
for a long time.
yeah, because when I was looking back through your Instagram, I saw one picture that was a
How deep
meme.
did you go?
Let me go deep, deep,
Doing
deep.
your research, damn.
Hey now, broadcast.
You're a
I got a
professional.
broadcast journalism
All
degree to
right, so what
scroll
did you
back through
learn?
porn
Tell me
stars'
about myself.
Instagrams. Wow. No, um, I saw one picture that was a meme that said, "Here's a photo of me in high school," and it was an empty chair, empty desk. I mean, so it's like, damn, you was a ditch bitch.
Oh, I mean, I went to a private school for a little bit, and I got
I
all
went
my
to private
credits
school all my life.
done, and then I switched to a public school, but I had all my credits done, and like at this
Yeah.
point, I'd moved out of my house. I was making money in some questionable ways as a teenager. But yeah, I had my own house when I was like 15, 16. At that point, I had like developed already. I looked like an adult. I thought I was an adult. You know, I was a menace starting at a young age. But yeah, I was like 15 and I was making money slanging things that I shouldn't have been slanging as a kid, and I had all this freedom. So I mean, I didn't go to school a lot.
Yeah. Okay. Did you get any formal education after high school, or did you graduate?
I tried to go to college. I did graduate.
Yeah.
I tried to go to college a few times because I kept just being like, I just need to get a degree. My family was very just like, just get a degree in something. So I tried. I mean, I wanted to go to art school because I was just like so creative. But then I started doing that because I was trying to do like, I really like doing like super realistic sculptures of like gore. But I was like, no, I don't think I'm going to make much money off this. And I was spending a lot of money on it. I tried to go to school try to go to beauty school for a little bit. And I ended up getting a serious head injury, and then I couldn't do that. And I tried to be a vet tech. Like I tried a few times because I was just like, I just had that pressure in my early 20s, mid 20s to just go to college. But I just like didn't care about anything, or I didn't know what I wanted to like focus on at the time. Um,
I got
so
you. And that's kind of what
education.
and that's kind of what college does, is like you kind of either, whether you finish or not, however long you're there, you're going to find out what you want to do and what you don't want to do.
Yeah. I yeah.
No doubt.
I tried, but now
Well,
I mean at this point I have so many friends that have degrees and they're still bartending or doing something because they don't make enough money at their like job that they went to school for. Now they have a bunch of student debt. So I kind of don't really have any regrets from not going through with getting a degree.
woohoo, I could be one of those friends, Loki. but but yeah. So what some of the viewers want me to start asking y'all is like, tell me about, your sexual evolution. When did have you always oozed this confidence? What kind of, in your younger days, what type of sex and boyfriends and things were coming across your desk?
Oh man. So I grew up with like the term almond mom.
No, I don't. Put
Okay,
me on.
well it's in like kind of a trending term on TikTok. Basically, like so I in the like 90s, early 2000s, which was not a thick bitch friendly time at
No.
all. So I was always told like you'd be beautiful if you lost weight, you could be so like you're beautiful, you have a pretty face, all the typical stuff. And I would just believe my whole family is just obsessed with weight. 72, she still just talks about calories and shit every time we hang out. Even though she's had this like really fulfilling life and done all this cool shit, she's just focused on like calorie counting and things. So I've been really was kind of taught to like hate my body. Like the only time bodies like mine were represented in media when I grew up was like as the butt of a joke. So I was always, even up until like my late 20s, I had a partner of like 4 years. I didn't like being naked in front of him. Like I hated my body. I had no confidence. I never learned like what I liked in bed because every time I would have sex, it was pretty basic. Like I wanted the lights off, just kind of get it done over with. Uh, and I didn't have the greatest partners because of other reasons too, because I just kind of was settling just to be with someone. Because I was trying to do like the straight and narrow path, like go back to school, have the boyfriend, get married, live with them. And I settled maybe for some relationships that weren't the best. And basically, I had bad sex and hated my body and was uncomfortable being nude up until it was 2017. And actually, this is so funny. There was this group on Facebook. I'm not gonna say the name of it, I think. But basically it was a bunch of like, it was like punks and stuff, and it was like a nude group because back then you could kind of get away with it in a private group, and everyone would share nudes, and it was really body positive. There's all kinds of people in it, every color, every body type, everything, and everyone was just like gas each other up, and it's kind of where I got comfortable getting naked. And then I was single for the first time. I was in relationships my whole 20s. I finally was single and I started posting slightly sexier stuff on Instagram. And I mean, it's nothing compared to what I post now. And I got positive from it. And that's kind of how the evolution of like people started asking to buy pictures and stuff. And I finally got comfortable with that. And then I kind of finally decided I needed to make a separate page for that. And that's when Thick Lizzy began. And it just was a really slow thing. And I kind of just had this realization one day that was just like, I'm fucking tired of hating myself. Like,
Wow.
It wasn't necessarily like, I was just like, I just don't care anymore if people like my body or not. Like, I don't, because when I look around, when I'm in a public space, I'm not attracted to 99% of the people in there. And so, like, why the fuck does it matter if people are attracted to me? Like, it just doesn't matter if people like my body or not.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Okay. I lost you when you said, oh, this could be a country song. I lost you when you said, um, you were talking about, yeah, so you were in a room full of people and like you didn't care if they were attracted to you and you like weren't attracted
Yeah,
to
like
them.
the
Take it from
nutshell
there.
is just that anytime I go out in public, when I'm around, wherever I am, grocery store, at a show, doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not attracted to the majority of people there. So, like,
Men or women or other.
just in general, yeah. Because
Okay.
I mean, I'm attracted. I'm like, technically, you could say I'm like pansexual. Like, I like people more for like aesthetic than like
Cool.
whatever's in the pants or whatever.
Okay.
I know. I like long hair and big hands, but that's a whole other topic. Anyway, the point was that like I am not attracted to most people that I'm around. So like why am I going out being so worried if people are attracted to me when it doesn't fucking matter? Like, you know? Uh and so yeah, basically from there I started posting like sexier stuff and started having a more of a positive response to it. Um and it felt like I was I was faking having confidence for a little bit, and it felt like people went along with it, and I was like, look, I'm sexy, and people were like, yeah, you are. And I was like, oh, like I could have just told you I was sexy this whole time and y'all would have just believed me. Like I had no idea, you know. So I was always so self-conscious, and it was like I just had to decide that I was hot, and then everyone else was like, all right. And like that was it. And it was just it was like a mental change, and it just like, it changed my style up a little bit. Like I used to not wear like this, and felt confidence. So that's why and I know
It,
that sounds, but so it's such a generic answer that it's all confidence, but I mean, it really is.
No, it's not a generic answer at all. And you know what? I like the point that you made that it's a really mental thing, because like this is a computer. The mind is a computer. So all you have to do is just like sometimes it takes you telling yourself that you are attractive. That's worked for me, that you can be in control. You're in control of your own destiny,
Yeah.
you know?
And
So
I mean,
I'm proud of you for that.
I do a lot of cool shit. I'm like, I got a personality to back it up, and I was blessed with some assets that,
Tell them.
generally it works
Okay.
out.
So how did you start tiptoeing over to the adult side of things? Was it OnlyFans? Was it nude modeling? Break it on down.
Well, like I said, like I'd started selling pictures. Basically, I started posting sexier stuff on Instagram. People then started requesting pictures. That's when I made a separate account that was Thick Lizzy, because I was just a Thin Lizzy fan, I've
The
always
boys are back in town.
hmm
You like how I said the boobs are back in town?
and then from there, like I was always traveling at that time full time. So I didn't want to do OnlyFans until I felt like I could post consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And then beginning of 2020, it was pre-pandemic. I moved to Austin, and I had like a space where I could create. So I was like, I'm finally gonna do OnlyFans. So I was getting a lot of requests for people like, when are you gonna make an OnlyFans? When are you gonna make an OnlyFans? And I did. And at that point, like my first day, I think I got like 100 subscribers because I'd been building up demand for it for a few years, for 3 years prior, So it
Nice.
kind of popped off pretty quick. And from there, I got shared by some pages that were like motorcycle pages where it was just like me, like kind of titties out sitting on a motorcycle, and that got shared on some Instagram pages. So it popped off quickly for me. And I made my Twitter, so I was told like that's a good place to promote. And then on Twitter, I got approached by
Plumper
uh
pass.
by Pure BBW was my first one.
I see.
And they approached me, and I was nervous about it. And um as anyone who's worked with them knows, they're persistent. And for me, it worked out well, and I'm very thankful for it. And I went and I shot my first scene by December of 2020 was when I did my first like professional scene. And then from there, Plumper Pass reached out, and I had some others reach out, and that's pretty much history. And I've gotten on some friends of mine who do YouTube channels that are motorcycle related.
Yeah. I saw you on the way to go borrow the cowboy hat. I was watching one where you did a vlog with some dudes in Tampa, right?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be working with them.
And
They
what's their
found me.
channel? And plug their channel just so everybody can check their stuff out too.
Shade Tree Surgeon is his channel. He's the one who reached out to me originally, saw me on some motorcycle page, and we ended up just talking about business. Like he was really encouraging about me making merch and doing stickers. So I've been doing stickers since before I even got into pro stuff. Um, and that's how we became friends. And he was like, fly out here. And he's like, you just sit on the back of the bike in a bikini and that's it. He's like, you don't even have to talk to the camera if you don't want to. Just be there. I'll plug you. You help me get views because of boobies,
Yeah.
And that was it. We met and we became good friends. And it was just kind of history from there. And so I've hung out with them a few times. And they also work and help out with a charity out in Florida that helps kids who age out of the foster care system. And I really like that they're like using their success to do good stuff too. And it's kind of I've always been into like volunteer work and like giving back and stuff because I'm really into like what the energy you give out is what you get back in the world. So it was really cool to see these people who have been really successful, but still wanting to be helpful within their community. And I was like, that really spoke to me. And so that's been a thing that I've been also wanting to keep doing because I've always wanted to do a job that like is helpful to the world in some way. And I guess what I do now is in its own specific way, but it's nice to kind of give back in a more traditional way also. That's been nice.
That's fantastic. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be in Florida and be able to kind of work with them on a more consistent basis.
So today, with all of the things you do, Thick Lizzy, what is like your biggest source of revenue?
OnlyFans, I guess. Is probably I sell a lot of merch. I don't know if you've looked at my merch much.
Yeah. The t-shirts, the stickers. Yeah.
Yeah, I sell a lot of that because I promote a lot to like the motorcycle world and not just in the sex work world.
Have you ever tried to be a recording artist yourself, like a singer-songwriter? No.
I've acknowledged a long time ago that like me, I'm not a good musician, so I support the scene in other ways. I'm like, I help book shows, I help put people up, I help connect people. I do that. I'm a behind the scenes music supporter. Like I'll be in Austin for all of June because I'm working a metal fest there that a good friend of mine puts on that's like incredible. And I'm just kind of help them do merch or wristbands or just whatever.
Nice. So am I wrong to assume you pull up to South by Southwest and get involved, or you might pull up to Stagecoach and get involved?
I like a little smaller scale.
Okay.
I was supposed to be in Austin for all of March, and I ended up staying in Albuquerque, which is my hometown, because I was like, man, I want to go see all my friends, but everyone's gonna be working, and South by is just so. I think South by Southwest used to be a really cool thing because it was all free and it was showcasing all these new artists and stuff, and now it's just it's so corporatized and everything costs a lot of money, and artists kind of get screwed over and they don't get compensated, and I don't like the vibe anymore.
I see.
And it's just a little overwhelming and not my thing. So I actually avoided South by Southwest entirely this year.
Yikes. South by Southwest was a traffic cone. I'd hate to see it.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. I want to take a question from Instagram that a viewer was kind of adamant about. Close supporter of mine was kind of really interested in. You being a metal and country lover and girl, being a cowboy, but you got a lot of scenes with black male talent, or a few, what is it? I think he was kind of curious, and I am too, because metal and country by today's standards is not black music, but he's like, oh, you like to work with black men, so what is that all about?
Okay, well, to be clear, like I'm open to all races, all genders, everything on the spectrum as far as my sexual preferences. I like to connect with people. I like their aesthetics.
Yes.
And the kind of metal and country that I like is not the kind of, I'm not into the more conservative stuff that you would associate with like Republican, I don't know, just conservative views, not my thing.
Right.
I'm not really trying to get very political on here, but like I'm extremely like anti-racist, about as far from any kind of conservative views as you can get.
Right on.
I'm not a liberal either, but
Okay.
anyways, not gonna get into that. Like I said, I like redneck shit. I'm like pro-gun and all this stuff. I'm like a very all about freedom girl, but also like cowboys traditionally, like people they think of cowboys and they picture these like white dudes with mustaches, and that's like not really what traditional cowboys are. There's been a lot of like obviously Native American, Mexican, and Black cowboys, and like people just that history is just kind of been erased, and I feel like a lot of people don't know about that at all, and they associate like country with white people, which is just like not fucking accurate. And so like I grew up in New Mexico too, which is like one of the least white states, and I always grew up as like country and like people cowboys being a lot of not white people was the normal where I'm from. So like it's weird to me when people associate like country and the cowboy aesthetic only with white people, but I understand why, because I feel like in like the mainstream radio that's kind of what it is right now. Like if you pop on a country station on the radio right now, you're only hearing white, not great pop country artists. That tends to be really like, I just love my fucking truck and like shitty beer, and
Right.
it's not my vibe.
And I imagine the DJs are probably mostly white too on there, right?
Yeah, and I like the kind of country that I go out and support like is more along like kind of the outlaw vibe. That's a lot more, I don't really know how to describe it without like getting into it, but it's not
Nailed it.
that.
Okay. Well, I'll take another question from Instagram. My good protector, Last Dragon 3311 asked, you said you've been on Peter BBW, but will you ever be on Jeff's Models or BBW Highway?
I don't know. I've been in communication with Jeff's Models quite a bit. Basically now it just hasn't worked out like timing wise. Like they were at AVN when I was at AVN, but AVN is chaos. And as far as Jeff's Models is in LA, and I'm just like not there. I'm definitely picky about how like who I work with, in the sense like the people I've worked with have been they're like paid for my testing, paid for my travel, paid for everything. And if I'm not getting offered that, I'm like, I don't want to spend as much money traveling to you as you're gonna pay me. It's like not really worth it. So getting to LA for me when I've not been there is like, if you're not paying for my travel or anything, I was like, it's just not,
Yeah, from a business standpoint, it just doesn't make sense,
No,
and
like,
there's no disrespect,
like
no
flights,
disrespect to them,
hotels, and
yeah.
testing costs like
$300 something bucks.
Yeah, and then I have to get my room and my flights. So if you're paying me what they're offering, I'm not coming out on top here.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what 2 episodes ago Kylie BBW was telling me, is like, you know what, even when you get the big bookings, you're at best scenario sometimes you might break even, and that's a little.
And it's worked out. The reason I've like Plumper passed, like, I'm already in Florida. I mean, they've paid for my travel to go out there, and gotten my accommodations, paid for my testing and everything, and it's great. Like fly out, do the scene, have like maybe an extra day to chill, and then go home, and it's been awesome. So I'm anytime they reach out, I just spoke with them yesterday actually about probably shooting later this summer. It's always great, and it's always it's mutually beneficial.
Fire. Now, Lizzy, a segment we gotta touch on is Skin Deep. Now, you have some of the most finest tattoo work I've seen of any guest.
I don't know if you looked very closely then.
No, just me being a fan of tattoo culture, and every fucking episode I have to say this, I want more, I want more, I want more. But like, yeah, I can't really pick what tattoo in particular on you is my favorite. What's your favorite though? Okay. Yeah, what's your favorite?
It's funny because I'm actually in the house where I met this girl. Her name is Nikki, but so it's hard to show this one. It's like an alligator centipede guy.
That's so cool.
She also did this 2-headed snake.
That's dope.
And then she actually made this bracelet that I'm wearing too. I don't know if you can see it. And she did my knuckle tattoos, which is hard to read, but it says "Lurk Late," which is from a poem. And this is a drink umbrella that I got, not because I love drinking so much, but it was when I decided I was never going to have a traditional job again, and I'm on vacation forever. So I got that.
That's fire.
It's kind of silly, but it's one of my favorite things. I have a lot of very stupid tattoos. So.
Well, the one on Homer Simpson is not
Like
is not stupid to me because
I don't. Can I? I don't know if I can like. There he is.
say now. There's Homer. Oh, with the old school Matt Groening drawing with the backwards mouth.
Yeah.
That's cool. Shout out to Lisa Groening, the dean of my high school. Actually, her brother's Matt, the creator of Simpsons and Futurama.
My allergies have been really bad. Sorry.
Does your allergies fuck with your septum piercing or vice versa?
No, I've had it since 2006, so like I'm used to it by now. You know, it's been so long. There's a lot of dogs and cats in this house. And
Oh, you're allergic to animals?
Everything. I just deal with it because I love them, though.
Yeah. Damn. Even so, when you're horseback riding, does that mess with your allergies too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy, you gotta pop the Claritin beforehand or the Sudafed.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay,
it's fine. I'm fine.
All right. Let's do down in the DM. So, Thick Lizzy, what is the craziest, funniest, most out of pocket, ridiculous DM or email you've ever received?
Oh my god. God, I honestly I feel like I don't get that much stuff that's like that crazy. Like, it's not too surprising. A lot of people just want me to be their mommy. You know, they want to be smothered, stepped on. Everyone on the internet thinks I'm like a giant. Everyone thinks I'm like an Amazon woman. I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
I'm little.
Oh Jesus! What? Yeah. I thought you were. I'm 5'10", and I'm like, oh, she gotta be at least follows me. Like, come here.
No,
girl.
Everyone thinks I'm gonna be. I get some big dick energy. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sure people want to be smothered, and I'm like, man, I'm submissive too. Like, y'all are gonna be really disappointed.
I misunderestimated too because I was thinking like, damn, she might be taller than me. That'd be maybe in the boots. But
that's why you were like, let's do it on Zoom just in case.
I mean, you got to come to LA so we could do another.
By
the way,
what?
Yeah. By the way, I needed to, with your name Thick Lizzy and with my show's name Thickness Protection Program. You know, you gonna be a reoccurring character now. Like
I'm fine with that.
You're joining the cast. Like, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you.
This is what I was saying, because I've done a few podcasts and I've had everyone thinks they can do it, and people don't understand there's an art to it, like pacing out the conversation, asking interesting questions. Because you know how many times I've been asked, like, does size matter? Like, come on, dude. Like,
no.
I know, like, does come up, but like people think like just because they're interviewing porn stars that it's automatically going to be interesting. And like, sure, there is an element of that because you're going to have an audience, but like, I've been with people where I'm feeling like I'm having to lead the interview when I'm the one being interviewed, and it's like really frustrating. But
the interviewing porn stars is only the surface level thing. It's about the genre, and then it's like, from you said it best, the art of podcasting is truly a media art. Is that's why I love it.
A lot. The one thing the biggest thing I've learned in my life is being someone who interacts with hundreds of people every day. Most people can't hold a conversation.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people
similar to you, both of us being live music lovers. When I interact with hundreds of people in my customer service jobs, you know what? I try to keep myself from getting bored. Is just like, when you greet people, read them and then respond accordingly when you greet them. Whatever their demographic is, respond accordingly.
I mean, that's what I feel like I've learned, like, I can lead conversations, and I feel like I can have conversations with almost anybody. Like, I go to new places all the time where I don't know anybody. I've had to learn how to make friends quickly, but I've found that if I am not doing that part, most people don't know how to.
Making friends easily is an underrated skill, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I don't know, I always thought it was kind of normal, but I realized that a lot of people aren't able to do that as quickly. I was kind of forced into it, I guess, because I'm just in new places all the time. So it's like, either make friends or don't have friends.
I think for me, it was about being an only child, where like,
I'm an only child too, actually.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, we don't.
We're kindred spirits in a way,
too, because I had a lot of social anxiety. when I was younger, I was really socially anxious. And now that I've gotten older, like I really want to make everyone around me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's like my goal is to make everyone around me just feel like they can be open and chill. And so
That's
like
always been a goal of mine too, especially in this podcast.
my
So
favorite compliment is when people are like, "Oh, like you're really easy to talk to," or like you make people feel comfortable being around you. I'm like, good. That's what I want.
I love it. I love it. One thing I wanted to ask you about was you said one time on social media, I think you were like, I like things that are gross. Is what is something that you're into that would cause an eyebrow raise to some, or is like, do you have any kinks?
Well, in on like a sexual level, I mean, honestly, in the sex work world, I don't think anyone thinks it's gross, but just like, being a big lover of like lots of really messy spit and those kind of things. Uh, I feel like, yeah, in the sex work world, that's like nothing. That's like everybody. But in like regular world, some people are still grossed out by like the idea of spitting in someone else's mouth.
Hmm.
Not.
Not
Yeah,
yours.
I mean, like it's like I like gagging, maybe a little puke,
Hmm.
those things, totally normal stuff.
Interesting. Yeah, bodily fluids. I think I've watched my maturity grow because I used to respond to this like, "Oh, what?" Like now I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's cool."
I'm like, yeah, because I think when I was younger, if somebody wanted me to pee on them or vice versa, I'd be like, gross. And now I'm like, let's go.
All right, cop a squat.
Yeah, I'm like, but
uh,
we're doing it at your house.
well, let me ask you this: has anything ever been too much, like in a scene? Like, has it ever been like, "Ah, cut the camera, stop, you got to tap out"? Has it ever been
Oh,
too much?
gross. No, so like, I mean, I haven't done a ton of professional scenes, and the ones I've done have been very vanilla, very like basic, you know, blowjob, reverse cowgirl, blah blah blah, smish, cum shot. I haven't done any scenes that are really anything out of my comfort zone so far. And I'm definitely like open to doing more like that, but it'll probably be more on like collab content trade level rather than on a professional set. But I'm definitely looking to expand some horizons.
Span
I'm
some
very strict
horizons.
with my boundaries in set. Like I think in my personal life, I'm kinkier than I am on set, and I am cautious about how much of that I'll share because as I've been doing sex work full time for the past 3 years, so I've been able to travel all over and kind of do whatever I want. So I'm pretty content. So it's like if I don't have to show more and more, I don't know if I will, like I want to do stuff that's a little kinkier and kind of show like do some more stuff where I'm more on the dominant side and somewhere I'm more on the submissive side. But I probably won't be doing too much extreme stuff. As of right now, that could change. I don't know. It all depends, like if I find the right partner to shoot with, like who knows.
When you're traveling from place to place too, do you do escorting as well?
Um, no, I no. Generally, no. I am open to it very rarely. So I could technically yes, but the amount of people I'll say yes to out of 100 is like one person out of 100.
I
Like I'm
got you. Super duper selective.
extremely picky about it. Yeah. The circumstances just have to be right because so I like when I have an extremely busy life. Socially, like I know people everywhere. There's tons of stuff I want to do. Like when I get a chance, when I have any time to myself, like I'm tired. I want to sleep. So for somebody to want to take up any of that time, like they got to make me a really damn good offer. And I have to be attracted to them on a certain amount.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of factors that go into it. Mostly my safety, obviously. Uh, so yes, technically, uh, but most likely no for people who are interested. Sorry.
Got you. Got you. Totally makes sense. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it on this one, Thick Lizzy. And again, you're coming back for sure. What other creators do you want to collaborate with?
I have so many. Um, God, so many. I've been wanting two female creators I've been wanting to work with are Layla Lewis, and I know Jaden Stone was just on your
Yep.
show. They both have the best eyelash game in the fucking business. I
Definitely
don't
got to
know.
sit with Layla soon. Definitely got to get Layla down with the thickness.
Yeah, I met her really briefly. I've been following her for a long time. Both of them though just look the reason I really obviously they're gorgeous, they're babes and they're killing the
Hmm.
game. But they just look like they're having so much fucking fun. And that I really like.
Yeah.
Also creator of the cottage core doll, even though we couldn't be more opposite in body type, she's also another one who just looks like she's having the best time. And that's like so appealing. Like you just want to be there.
Yeah.
Uh, I do really want to do my first like MMF threesome. I've done a scene in the past. It was Finney's Playhouse and Erica Love and I did a threesome scene.
Right.
That was fun.
I caught a whiff of that on you guys' mini vids. It looked awesome.
Yeah, it was a good time. It's funny. Like it's kind of a silly. We did like a whole. It's like an hour long scene where we have a whole plot line and all this shit.
Oh,
It's a little goofy.
put a little scripted, put a little
Yeah.
filmmaking to it. Okay.
But I really wanted to do my first like MMF. I was trying to arrange something when I was going out to Vegas, but timing and stuff just like didn't work out. But I have a feeling I can make that happen. It's on my fuck it list this year.
The fuck
I
it
think
list.
since I'm gonna be in Florida, like there's so many creators in Miami, and so many people go out to Tampa and Orlando for content that I think I'll be able to hopefully just do more shoots than because Austin was really great for my life on my music and social level, but not great for work. There's just not a ton of creators out there. It's not a
Really?
place. I mean, I feel like it's like LA, Vegas, Miami are the places to be. And I think being really close to Miami is going to be really helpful. So yeah, we'll see. I'm
Very
excited
dope.
about this year though. I've done like more collab scenes this year already than I did like all of last year.
Yeah, I would, me being, somebody who likes to see like different things come together aesthetically, it would be kind of fire to see you work with like who's gotten down with the thickness. Coco the Goat, of course. Shout out to my girl. Mistress Dolly for sure. Cause like, different swags but similar body types.
Mhm.
Um, and then this is kind of out of left field, but it would be super dope to see you work with Dipped in Red.
I don't think I'm familiar.
I don't know if you're familiar. You're
I'm
not
gonna have to
familiar,
learn.
but yeah, I don't know if she's still in the business though. I don't think I follow her on social media at this time, or people's pages get taken down all the time. But yeah, she's from South Central LA or Compton, African American. She's I think she's from the Bloods because she's dipped in red. But like, yeah, to see the country girl swag and the like
Yeah.
G-Funk swag would be awesome.
I'm about like I like having a variety. That's kind of a goal is I want to have like variety of the type of folks I work with because there's some people in the game right now where they kind of work with the same aesthetic over and over and over, and they're all hot as fuck. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, and their content is great, but it's kind of like everything's the same. Um, and I like to have I want a whole variety of stuff, and I also like I want to work with other BBW models because obviously we're gonna have the same audience and it makes sense. But I like working with people that have different body types too. Like I have some friends who do OnlyFans and stuff, and they polar opposite bodies, like little tiny skinny things, but we're all into like kind of like choppers and the same like aesthetic,
That's dope.
and so we still have the same kind of fans because people like all kinds of bodies, and it's fun to have different body shapes. Uh, in scenes. And like I sometimes I like working with like the really skinny dudes and then my body. And sometimes I
Yeah.
think the really muscular bodies and the soft body look good together. Like I just like so there's just I also like I think it would be fun to do a scene with some little tiny guy and maybe I will do
Yeah,
this
yeah.
season.
There's scene with a short king.
Yeah.
It would be crazy as hell to see you work with Shorty Mac. I don't know if he's still in the game, but he's a small black porn star who he be talking all types of shit when he's in there. Yeah. Okay. Well, last one I'll end it on is biggest misconception of a porn star, content creator, sex worker, someone in your profession.
I mean, it's just like I think people think that I have no feelings. And like I'm super sensitive, I'm super romantic. In my personal life, like
I love that.
I feel like a lot of porn stars tend to be, they're not that interested in hookups because we get the best dick and pussy around, you know, and like people kind of think that we're like, I don't know, these like heartless, like emotionless people that just want to fuck all the time. When I feel like in our personal lives, a lot of people are the opposite. A lot of people are more like homebodies, and they kind of just want like, they're not interested in sex unless there's like a serious emotional connection. And that's kind of how I am. Like I like really intimate, like I need to have some chemistry. Like I don't like one night stands. It's just, it does nothing for me in my personal life. I think that is a big one. And also I think the one thing for me personally that drives me a little nuts is once I tell someone I do porn, that's all I am to them as a porn star. Even though last year I actually shot porn maybe 5 days out of all of last year. 5 days.
Okay.
I wrestled an alligator. I went to Sturgis. I went to Niagara Falls. I did all this shit. But all anyone hears is like, she's a porn star. And I'm like, I travel the fucking country doing all this cool shit.
No, she's Thick Lizzy.
That's the only thing that people care about is like
Thick Lizzy's Thick Lizzy.
About anything else. And that is like a little bit, I'm like, dude, I have like this insanely fulfilling like life with all this stuff that I do, but it's just like it doesn't exist when people don't care.
Well, that's a shame. And you know what? One of my goals with Thickness Protection Program is really to humanize every guest who gets down with thickness. You know, it's what is the person like, you know, because when people are just sitting there jacking off, they're just not really knowing like, who is this person? I get to like be the one who brings to the forefront the entire story.
Yeah.
Backstory.
Well, it's nice to be asked like questions about like what we do in our personal lives instead of, like I said, like, you know, just those basic questions like how big are your boobs? Does size matter? Like blah blah blah. What's your favorite? And I feel like so many people who get into interviewing porn stars, it's all they ask. And it's like, bro, like we haven't been asked this shit like a million fucking times. Like it's so
right.
Boring. And I feel like the reason people want to subscribe to individual, like there's a million people out here doing sex work. I mean, more than a million, you know, like you're never going to be the hottest and all this stuff. Like people want to subscribe to you because they want you personally, you know? And like a lot of my audience is because they know that I'm at motorcycle events and stuff like that. Like it's because they want me, because I'm not like the hottest, I'm not the youngest, I'm not doing the most extreme stuff, but it's like they want thickness.
They want thickness. Perfect. For sure. And for me, it ain't. I love older. You know, what was that song you had on your TikTok? It's like, I like my girls with a little bit of age.
You know my social media better than I do, dude.
I do, and you have like fucking 50 times the TikTok following as I do.
It's just because I do lives.
Okay. Yeah, I want to incorporate lives way more into this, but we will talk some more business. This was a pleasure, Thick Lizzy. Thank you so much for getting down with the thickness. Go ahead and plug where they can follow you, find you, and watch all your content.
The easiest place to find all of my links is thicklizzy.com. It's got my ManyVids, my OnlyFans, my merch store, everything. Thicklizzy.com. Thick Lizzy Official on Instagram, and best place to find me.
Woo! There you go. All right. Well, Thick Lizzy, thank you for getting down with the thickness. Again, this has been Thickness Protection Program. Make sure you come on, check it out at youtube.com/palmofficial. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that bell, leave us a like. Make sure you're following the podcast on Spotify at Thickness Protection Program. Instagram is The Thickness Protection Program. Twitter is at The Thickness Pro, and TikTok is also at Thickness Pro. And we out. Thick Lizzy, thank you for getting down with the thickness. We want thickness for sure.
We want